All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson. Not too sure what I'm going to title it, but I was sitting here just now, reading the book of Philippians, the second chapter, which, yesterday the Spirit hopped on me to hop into Philippians. And I read the first chapter yesterday. Today I hopped into the second chapter. And it's something that sparked my spirit. And that's what I want to kind of touch on here in this lesson. And Lord willing, it do be edifying. Get straight to the point with it. But, as I was reading this and it hit me, I was like, man, it was a particular verse, but I kind of started, meditating on it a little more as I read that verse, and we'll read it here in a few. But it just hit me, and I was like, man, this the mindset to have, this the spirit to be in once you come into the truth, and more specifically, not just the truth, when you come into the ministry. When you start to come on the other side, you preach, you're amongst the body, you in a camp, and that's a different mindset. And what I want to read right here, that's what Apostle Paul was speaking on, because you have a lot of believers out there who just listen to the videos, but they're not prophets. So they don't know what it is to be amongst a group of men, to be amongst the Lord's servants and correction and rebuke and counsel. And, it's different. It's different. Fellowship, so on and so forth, on the highways and hedges. So when you get into the truth, you kind of see that, man, you around men from different backgrounds, right? Different ages. We all was born at different time periods, had different life experiences. And now we all getting together, from whatever we did in the past, all coming together with one mind and belief in the same thing. And coming into the body, we all going to have many different things we like, right? You may like something, a brother don't like that. And that's part of being a part of the body. And I want to read this verse real quick because as I read it, I was like, man, that's the mindset to have in this truth. And it's a spirit that the Lord had me read this today because this has been something I've been dwelling on lately. On how Yahweh Shai said to sit at the back. Right. And that's kind of been in my spirit. But when you come into this thing in the truth, the best thing to do is just sit at the back. And Lord willing, we'll go into that on what the Lord mean. But just sit at the back. Right. Meaning when we come into this thing, don't try to always be on the forefront, always try to be seen and heard and thank you that man and whatever it may be. No, man, sit at the back. You see, and at the end of the day, the best thing for especially us as the young brothers, when we first come in, the best thing for us to do is just be quiet, listen, keep our head low, do the work, show up for camp, show up for class. If we ask to do anything, do it. Right? We shouldn't have too many issues, problems, right? Just do what we ask. And then if brothers see we can handle that, then more will be asked of us. Keep it simple. And we'll get into it. But I want to hit this Philippians in the second chapter, Philippians 2 real quick, because Apostle Paul was going into some characteristics to have as we among other men within this body, man. So this Philippians chapter 2, and I'm going to start at 1, but the point in 3. And then when we get to 3, we'll read down from there. But let's start at verse 1. And I'm going to read this in the NLT. So this Philippians chapter 2 and verse 1 in the NLT. And check this out. The header says, have the attitude of Mashiach. Aren't we the body of Yahweh Shai? This is the mindset to have being amongst other brothers, being in the body, right? Philippians 2 and 1 NLT. It says, is there any encouragement from belonging to Mashiach? Right? Since we're in this truth now, shouldn't we be encouraged? It says, is there any comfort from his love? And it's asking questions. And it should be love and comfort there now that you in the truth with the body. It says, any fellowship together in the spirit, ? Or your hearts tender and compassionate ? And this is what Apostle Paul said. He said, then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, and working together with one mind and purpose. So he said, if it is encouragement, if it is love, that fellowship, well, do it. Apostle Paul said, well, do it then. Love on each other while we can. Hey, have one mind, one spirit, and do this work while we can. Now, watch what he about to say. So seeing we come into this fold among other men, what's the spirit and mindset to have? Verse 3, Philippians 2 and 3 in the NLT, it says, and don't be selfish. You got to comment that. We got to touch on that. Don't be selfish, right? It says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble and think of others as better than yourselves. We have to go through this again, man, because although it seems simple, but when you really among other brothers in the body, years, it's going to be different things that arise, different arguments, different disagreements and makeups and breakups. It's going to be that. You see, it's going to be to a brother may be lifted up and you ain't getting lifted up yet. Right. And then, the flesh will try to get jealous. The flesh will try to make you get mad at the brother. That's why these things go into that. So we can get a reminder on how to act amongst one another. Let's read this again. This Philippians 2. And I don't know what I'm going to title this lesson, but just the thought of once we come into this thing, just sit at the back. We ain't got to be seen, man. We ain't got to be the man, But let's read this again. Philippians 2 and 3, because there's a good bit up in here. Philippians 2 and 3 in the NLT. It says, don't be selfish. Matter of fact, I'm going to just read verse 2 again and read into 3. It says, then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, and working together with one mind and one purpose. So we here to do a job. So as we hear, it says, and don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. It says, and don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. We'll read a little bit more, but that's a heavy point right there, and something to keep on our mind, being in this truth. Because at times we could be on point for a couple years or a couple months, weeks, and then some come, to where we got to get rebuked, or, the Lord shakes something up in our personal life or within the camp. It's many things that can happen, but it's how we go adjust within this body, man. You see, it says, let's go through this list again. Don't be selfish. And what's the many ways a man could come into this truth? Again, not just in the truth, but now that you're among other men, you in the body. A way to be selfish is one, you never willing to help. You never willing to help. But as soon as you need help, you got your hand out, right? You got your hand out, but you never really want to help a brother unless you're forced to. You see, everything all about you. After camp, bro was trying to go eat. And bro was like, shit, well, let's go get some tacos. And you're like, I don't want no tacos. I ain't going. You see, I ain't going in. No, bro. Sometimes even if we don't want no tacos, go get the taco. Because brother's going. Just be there. So it says, don't be selfish. And what's another one? And don't try to impress others. That's another thing. We all could come into this truth and know some precepts and some history. And you want to tell everybody. You feel like everybody needs to know how much knowledge the Lord blessed you with. You see, the apostles come down, the apostles, elders come down, and you the one that's trying to be seen. You see, you right? You answering all the questions and whatever. You trying to be seen. Again, remember what Lord willing we get what Yahweh Shai said. Remember, just sit at the back. Because one thing that I have noticed in this truth, just from my super short stint in it, whether by personal experience or hearing it from others, the more you out there on the forefront, the more the light will be on you. The more you talking, the more chance it is you can make a mistake. You see, the more you always on the scene, the better chance you're going to get caught up in something. As we in this truth, bro, just be. You ain't got to try to be the man. You ain't got to try to, No, just be. Sit at the back. And then when it's time to get called up, when it's time for light to be shed on you, it'll be, in a more humbling sense, so to speak, as it wasn't forced. You ain't forcing somebody to notice you. You ain't forcing, yourself to, I'm a soldier in a camp right now, but I want to be the officer. So, let me try to do something so brothers can see me and be like, man, he need to be an officer. Right? Oh, I'm an officer. Let me do something so I can be the head of the officers. Whatever. We don't gotta force nothing. Just be, man. But again, we going into different things, characteristics that's needed and good reminders Apostle Paul given on how we should act amongst one another, man. Right? Philippians 2:3, it says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. And that's a key point right there. It says thinking of others as better than ourselves. And you know what? I know we often say, well, we understand reincarnation. We don't know who is who. Right? We don't know who is who. So even that's a example right now, right there, to show we don't know who is who. We can't think of ourselves better than another brother because we may know more, or he can't speak as good as I can, right? So no, we don't know who is who. Just because a brother may not have the many gifts that the Lord bless us with, the many talents that the Lord bless us with, don't mean we could look down on that brother, man. Oh, he might not be a man of the Lord because he don't know this in the Hebrew. He don't know how to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew yet, so I don't know. You see? Remember, everybody have their own portion and lot. And coming into the truth, you're going to have brothers who got 5 talents, like Yahushua gave the parable, which mean, like the elder brothers, the apostles, they know a lot, they do a lot. You see, they got a lot on their plate. You're going to have some brothers who got three talents, 3 talents. Which meaning they got a good portion, but not as much as the head men. And you gonna have some brothers who just got 1 talent. The best precept they could bring out and break down is John 3:16. And guess what? They have enough. They there. But the Lord may have blessed them with another spirit other than teaching, other than reading. What if it's charity, so on and so forth. The point is, seeing we amongst each other, the last thing we want to do is look down on another man and in a sense of, well, we better because we do more, right? Well, I go to 3 camps a week. How many you go to? Oh, this brother should go to Friday camp. No, man. Look, we all come in this for a purpose. And the thing is, again, think about that. Different ages, lifestyles, and we all sent here to do the work and agree with each other until the Lord come back, man. And build and love, so on and so forth. Right? And 2, that's why some men, this is why some men do get removed from the body, because they don't have these basic characteristics that's needed. And that's why a lot of people look down on the milk, because they want to know deep breakdowns. But the best part, this is where it's at. The milk is where it's at. This teach you how to be, what to do amongst the brothers, the basics, man. What spirit we should be in. And then once you kind of get these basic things, then the deeper breakdowns go come as you amongst the body, right? As you grow. But let's continue. I'm kind of venting, but I am getting thoughts off, because I read this today, but this kind of been my spirit the past couple of weeks. Like, man, when you come into the camp, the best thing for a man to do is have the mindset of just sit at the back. And we're going to go into what Yahushua meant by when he said that, which means don't try to be seen. Don't try to be on the forefront, because that's the faster you can get humble and exposed. Just sit at the back, bro. Philippians 2:3. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. And don't look out only for your own interest, but taking interest in others too. And that's big in this body. It ain't all about us. It ain't all about how we feel, what we want to do. You see? It's about each and every one of us, man. We are the Lord's servant. And it says, the servants, it says, you must have the same attitude that Yahushua Mashiach had. This is spirit Yahushua was in. And it's going to show you how Shai humbled himself when he came around other brothers. Yeah, he was the man. Yeah, he was on the right-hand side of his father. But he even gave an example. He humbled himself and washed some grown men's feet. And we ain't talking about modern feet when, nigga take his shoes and socks off and he got clean feet. No, we talking about ancient men feet, sandals, dust, dirt. Yahweh Shai humbled himself amongst people that wasn't as great as him, but he treated them the same. Come on, man. He ain't never boast or brag, make them feel bad about themselves, right? No, he made them feel, come on, man. That's the mindset to have, like Yahweh Shai had in the body. It says you must have the same attitude that Yahweh Shai Mashiach had. Though he was a God, he did not think of equality with the Most High as something to cling to. And that's why I say the greater we are in the truth, the more humble we should be. It says, I got, you kind of got thoughts running through your head and they're going through your head faster than you can speak. But it says he didn't cling to a rank. Even in the camp, you got men who want to come into the camp just to have rank, just to be a head, just to be the camp head, just to be an officer, just to be somebody, man. Remember, sit at the back. Go sit at the back. Because when the right time come, you will be put in a position that brothers need you at and which you're going to fulfill to benefit the body. Instead of you forcing yourself to, I want to be the camp head. You forcing yourself to, I want to be an officer. And you forcing it, and then now it can go left. Now you can get exposed. Now it don't happen, so on and so forth. Who knows? The point is just once we come into the truth, just sit at the back and be patient. Again, I'm learning this from myself through certain experiences I had in the truth and hearing experiences from elders or brothers. And now we reading out the scriptures. This is the mindset to have amongst others. It says, verse 7, instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. And when he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to the Most High and died a criminal's death on a cross. And therefore, so since he humbled himself first amongst others, it says, and therefore the Most High elevated him to the place of highest honor and gave him a name above all other names, that at the name of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, every knee shall bow in heaven and in earth and under the earth, and that every tongue should declare that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is Lord, to the glory of the Father. But I just wanted to get that to show it went through some characteristics and the mindset to have in a body, and it said this how Yahweh Shai was, because he humbled himself and then lift himself up amongst others. That's why the Lord blessed him. Let me get this precept real quick. Sit at the back. Yahweh Shai said something. Just sit at the back. Then things will go smoother. You ain't feel like you forcing nothing. You forcing the course of the river. Man, yeah. Let's get this Luke 14. Luke 14. See where I'm going to start at. So this is a parable, right? Luke 14:7. It says, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, right? They had a little feast. And now let's liken it to us. We are bidding right now to push this word. We have an invitation to come out and be a part of this thing and push the word. It says, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, and he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying unto them. So you had people coming in, at the feast, and they getting the best seats, the best seats, the best rooms, the best spots. So Yahweh Shai peeped that, and this is what he said. He says, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, unless a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. Now I'm going to go back over this. Let's get the NLT. It may be a little more plainer. So it says, when you're invited somewhere, don't try to sit in the best spot. Don't try to be all in the forefront being seen. You see? All loud. Why? He says, because the person who invited you, how you know he don't got a more important and special person than you So you sat in a high seat and another person come behind you, and now you got to be embarrassed and get up out that seat. Let's read the NLT. Some good stuff. This Luke 14:8 in the NLT, it says, when you are invited to a wedding feast, don't sit at the seat of honor. And the greatest wedding feast is beginning now by us being gathered with this truth. So when we come into the fold, don't try to be the man, right? Let the Lord do it. Don't force it. You see? Don't try to sit at the seat of honor. Oh, I think I should be the, camp head. Don't try to sit at the seat of honor. It says, when you are invited to a wedding feast, don't sit in a seat of honor. What if someone who is more distinguished than you has also been invited? The host will come and say, give this person your seat. Then you will be embarrassed and you will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Man. So you had this person, this parable, so-called, Yahushua, gave a sense of people who could lift themselves up, sitting at the seat they think they should be in, but eventually let time play out. See, time is one of the Lord's greatest quality. Let time play out. And what if somebody better come in? And let's use the camp. What if somebody come into the camp and we don't know, in the heavens, they chosen over you in the heavens? You see? Or what if this? Not just if you can get that example as far as a man not chosen and another man is. What if a brother who been in the camp, and a new brother come in, may not know as much, but within that 144,000 rank, the new man rank high, which we don't know that, but I'm just giving an example. The new man could be ranked higher than another brother who been in the camp. Then King David said, the Lord said unto my Lord. See, Solomon was over David, although David was his father. But just giving an example, I won't get off topic, right? Just in Yahushua giving a point to where he gonna say it, just sit at the back. It's gonna be easier, man. Things could flow smoothly. It says the host will come and say, give this person your seat, then you will be embarrassed. Now think about that. You made yourself somebody within the camp or within his Hebrew, like Alazar, Hebrew Israelite thinking, you get exposed. Now guess where he embarrassed? You see, and he out of there. Right, but let's finish this. I'll wind it down. It says, Luke 14:9. The host in the NLT, the host will come and say, give this person your seat. Then you will be embarrassed and you will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Instead, so this is the spirit to be in. And again, he given a sense of a wedding feast, but this in any and everything we do, wherever we go, man. Even at a fellowship at a brother house. You see? I don't know if, some brothers may not have elders. I know out here we got maybe 5, 6 elders in the Houston camp. But even that, when say we go there out to Zaria house, the smart thing to do is let the elders get their seats first. Let them sit, if they want to sit on the sofa first, so we're about to do a lesson, let them sit on the sofa first. Don't just go plop right there in front of the sofa so you could be on front of the video. No, man, let them sit in the front seats. We gonna get the seats and go behind them. Then if an elder say, so-and-so, come sit up here. So-and-so, come sit up here for the lesson. Then that person go sit up there for the lesson. But that's not just at a wedding feast. Remember, this in a body. There's gonna be many different opportunities that this mindset could be used. Whether we eating or whether we fellowshipping, whether we out somewhere, whether we at camp, this always can be used. Yahushua was just giving a general example of taking the low. Being called up from the bottom instead of being at the top and being brought to the bottom. So he said, instead, take the lowest place at the foot of the table. Then when your host sees you, he will come and say, friend, we have a better place for you. Then you will be honored in front of all the other guests. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. That's the point. So the conclusion of the matter is saying, we have a lot of people coming to this Israelite truth. That's not prophets, right? That's women. And, they just, kind of get the video experience, listen on videos. But you have the other side of that, which we are involved in, the prophets and the teachers, apostles, prophets, and the teachers, right? We have to daily, weekly be amongst other men to do this work, communicate with other men. And it's going to be certain offenses. It's going to be certain things and, talks and feelings hurting and lifting up and whatever it may be. But this is the mindset to have as we're amongst each other, man. One, what it said in Philippians, let's go back through that again. What it said? It says, one, don't be selfish. And coming into the truth, the best thing for a man could be is selfless. It says, don't be selfish. Second, don't try to impress others. You don't do too much just to be seen, right? It says, and be humble, thinking of others as better than ourselves, man. Never think we the man and we got it. We got it. Because the Lord will always flip that script, and somebody who you don't think got it, the Lord could put them over you and take whatever you have and give that to them. You see? So the best thing in this truth, one had a mindset as Yahweh Shai had, man. But I'm going to end it right there, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Chakwadash. And with that, Shalom.